medical emergency, every second matters. Not every family has time or even the means to drive 30 minutes south for care. Walker County deserves a state-of-the-art hospital right here at home. With a brand new ER and enhanced trauma care, your family can get the care they need when they need it. All of our neighbors deserve the best care possible right here where we live. On May 3rd, vote yes on the hospital bond. Learn more at yournewhospital.com. Political advertising paid by Huntsville Torch Alliance for Rural Health PAC.
Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
You know, movies start now, like the new the previews for movies. When you see them, it's no longer a narrator, right? You don't hear like in a land from 20 years. You don't hear that. It's just clips from the movies. Kay, you know what I'm talking about, Isaiah?
Yeah, it's just the movie clips and a couple words at the bottom. So if you're not looking, you don't even know what movie it is.
All they have now, every single one of these, Kay, always has that. I guess they're so proud of their audio in the movie theaters. It always has that. You know what I'm talking about? Every one of them has a, and it does it like 6 times on every preview. So, in the future, we're working on that. We're going to have an intro that's going to go, and there you go.
What's today?
It's Wolf Brand Chili Day today. That's why I was thinking of that intro. You get where I'm going with that, Kay? See, Rick's didn't want to hop on with us, so I have to have the Rick humor with you and me, and you know, Rick just didn't want to hop on this morning.
I'm sorry, you cannot hold a candle to the Rick humor.
The Rick humor is very. What would you say the Rick humor is, Kay? If you could describe it in one word, what would it be?
Unusual.
Unusual. See, that's the word I was looking for. A word like that.
Or fascinating.
Okay.
But he says it.
Isaiah, you've been around for a hot minute now. What would you say? How would you describe the Rick Boning humor?
Eccentric.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. See, he's using big words like Rick uses too. That I just, you know.
Well, It's only right if I fill in for him. I got to try to fill the shoes.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, welcome in, episode 501. Welcome in. A lot of fun yesterday. Thank y'all, Rick and Kay, for Isaiah. Thank you for not coming out, man.
Somebody had to hold down the office. Not all of us get to do the fun stuff.
Well, we had a great time yesterday, and so I want to thank all of you for coming and hanging out. Kyle was there. Kyle came and hung out with us, but it was a lot of fun. And big thank you again to Huntsville Fire Department. I didn't know those guys were coming, so that was really nice of them. When you see free breakfast tacos, man, you better get there. And I'm going to be scouring. I'm building a bot now that will scan the interwebs for free. And then, so I may just have to leave if I get an alert. Anything free goes to my phone now, and I'm out. I get so annoyed, though, in the Elkins Lake group. They give away some really good stuff, and I miss it every time. If you don't get to those posts, literally, where people are saying that something's free within 5 minutes, it's gone. Someone the other day gave away a really nice table. I was like, we could use that. Gone. Somebody gave away a really nice little kid's toy. It was like one of these, what are the wagons? The company that makes those wagons. The little, what is it? Red, no, not Red. It's Flyer. The Flyer.
Yeah, Flyer.
Yeah, Flyer. The Flyer, whatever. Red Flyer. They had like this cool little horse thing on rollers. Well, we already have one for Braylon. I said, that'd be great. Get a matching one for Caden, right? Those things are like $50. Somebody put on there, Isaiah, we're giving it away. And I was like 6 minutes on it, Kay. I said, boom, we're going to get it. I said, we're on our way. Oh, it's already been given away. Can you delete the post, please? That's called getting your hopes up. If you've already given something away, get rid of it. Get rid of the post.
In 6 minutes, it feels like it was sold before the post delivered.
They already knew.
Yeah.
It was a precog. You ever seen that? What was it? There was a movie with Tom Cruise.
Report.
Yeah, the Minority Report. It was the precogs knew that it was there. They were all three in the water, and they started shaking. Someone's giving something away. And
Hey, I actually knew a movie.
This is what I'm. See, Rick, just go on.
It's a good
Kay and I got it. Well, welcome in again. Big thank you as always as we get rolling here on episode 501 on this wonderful Wednesday. Kay Boning joining us alongside Isaiah Berry. Good to have you back, Isaiah. And we are ready to rock and roll. I want to thank Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com. And by the way, stay updated on our social media. We are going to do a really awesome giveaway in celebration of the 500th episode yesterday. And so Elliot and I are working on something. He just wants to give back to the community. And so stay alert on our social media pages for that. We'll have something up very soon. And, of course, on this wonderful Wednesday, we couldn't be here without our foundation support, including our friends at Tomorrow's Promise. Kay, how have you been? Good to see you.
I've still been trying to get over this stupid pleurisy.
Yeah, it's not. Is it like a burning and a hurting pain? How does, if you don't mind me asking, because it seems like I had that.
It's an inflammation of the sac around the lungs, and every time you take a breath, it feels like somebody's stabbing you.
Oh, no. Is it getting better, though?
It is getting better.
Did they give you medicine for that, or is it just something that has to go away on its own?
You're supposed to rest.
All right, Kay, we're off. So, see you later. No.
I've rested more. I'm used to working 14-hour days, and this is, it's hard.
Yeah, Rick had said last week, I forgot we were doing something, and he said, well, I said, well, is Kay doing okay? Well, she's at home resting. And I said, thank the Lord, because you need some rest, Kay. And you're right. When you got a million things to do, you kind of want to put that by human nature for those of us that work for a living. I mean, you want to put that ahead of everything else. But I've learned here, and it's like someone at church told me a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't taken their advice yet. And he goes, I don't mean this the wrong way, but he goes, just disappear for a week. And I said, if I could figure out how to do that, I would. But right now, I can't just disappear for a week. So one day I will. But we've been praying for you. I know that you've been down and out. We've really been praying for you and just saying, Lord, heal Kay. We need her back at 115%. Because right now you're only going at 103, and we need you at 115.
I'm not even doing that. I'm doing about 15%, I think. I just feel like I'm drowning because there's so many things to get done.
Well, I wanted to briefly, I know you got to roll here in just a few minutes. So we got a great show lined up today. We have some friends from HMH here from Huntsville Memorial Hospital going to be chatting with us a little bit later here this morning. Joe Shore's here. We appreciate him for coming. We'll talk with Joe in a little bit. I know you got to get rolling, but I did want to bring up something. First and foremost, thank you all for coming yesterday. It was a great breakfast and a lot of fun, and I think that's kind of given me an idea now that we want to do that maybe twice a year. Just have a little community breakfast and invite people out.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a neat idea.
So I think we're gonna do that just to have more interaction with the community, because we can seat maybe 3 people here, maybe 2. If I take away a chair, one person has to stand.
Well, the room's full right now.
Yeah, we've got a full house. This is great. But we don't. There's not. Let's just say what you see right here. It only goes back this way. What would you say? Maybe a good 10 feet at most.
Yeah,
I'd
maybe.
say 14.
14 feet. So, but we want to do that more often. But I did want to quickly highlight, Kay. I didn't realize this. I saw it yesterday. We're good friends with the Care Center of Huntsville. You had a chance to go speak to them yesterday.
Yeah.
Can you maybe highlight a little bit about what you talked about? Because we talk about it on the show. It's very important.
A lot of what we talk about on the show. I talked about how much the brain develops in the first 5 years, because I'm talking to new mommies and daddies in the room, and it's a back and forth discussion. I do a little presentation, and then I answer questions and talk to them about the importance of reading and a lot of the things we talk about on the show. But and just try to encourage them to take care of their children and how important those first few months in life are, the first few years, and what decisions you make with them. That if you have to put them in childcare, make sure it's a good childcare center and it's not just a daycare where they're just bringing them home alive. Make sure they're reading to them. Make sure they're doing things with them. Don't park them in front of the TV and don't give them the cell phones and, just all the stuff we kind of talk about here.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, these are, like you said, new mamas and daddies, and I saw the picture, and it was so neat, and I thought of this immediately after I saw you in that picture, all the strollers and the car seats, and I was like, man, this is a whole room full of new ones, fresh out the oven babies, and mamas and daddies were in that room, and you're right. You have, and I shared that post because I really do believe this, Kay, that you are such a huge advocate in this community, and we're so blessed to have you that is shining the light on early childhood development. That is so important. And I know, Isaiah, you've been with Tomorrow's Promise a few weeks now, and you probably already picked up a lot of that, right?
Man, picked up not only just how the curriculum changes from a normal child care center or a normal school to being in the Montessori program, and picking up on how the teachers interact with the students and how early. This is my first time seeing children as early as, a few months old or 1 year, maybe even 2 years of life being super advanced or accelerated in their mental capacity just because of the work and the things that they're able to accomplish going to school. I mean, it's mind-blowing for someone who hasn't been in it for, 30 years like Miss Kay. I'm not as used to it. So every day I come into work, I'm just mind-blown at a new child showing me something amazing every day.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that early childhood development is so important. I'm very mindful of that, Kay. Just like, other friends in the community, with Deanna Irwin, with the Peyton Irwin Foundation, she has made this community aware of the don't text and drive. Mm-hmm. You have made this community aware of early childhood development. And every time I look at my children, sometime during the day, I'm not even making this up, I think of you and I think of my kids, and I need to make sure that I'm doing what I can because their brains are soaking in every single thing. I was watching a documentary on Lakewood Church yesterday. I used to go there down in Houston, and I've always just been fascinated with the history of churches and church growth and just how churches go from one place to another and those kind of things. And I found one in Lakewood that I thought was fascinating. Well, Braylon was sitting there, and she just started tuning into it for a minute, and then she turned around, and she was back playing with her little blocks, and the guy had said something, and it wasn't anything bad. It was a documentary, and she turns around and starts repeating it. I'm like, she's not even paying attention. She's sitting here playing with her blocks, and then they said something like, and then we moved to this location, and Braylon's like, she's playing with her, and just out of nowhere, she's like, oh, and then this block moved to this location, and I was like, why did you just say that? And I put 2 and 2 together because in the back of her mind, she's hearing these things. Yeah. So I just think it's crazy how children soak up everything, and it's also as a parent, it reminds me of why I need to be really careful on, I try to be the same person everywhere I go and who I am. I think that's important to to always try to be that way. But let's be honest, sometimes your children get on your nerves a little bit, and you just got to watch what you say and don't tell your children that Deborah's coming to take the dollhouse away from her, because I started using that one for a while. Well, Deborah goes to church here. She's our pastor secretary, also our children's minister. She gave us a dollhouse for Braylon, really nice one. And I said, Braylon, if you don't shape up, Deborah's coming to get that dollhouse. And she's like, Daddy, I don't want Deborah to come.
Rob.
I know it wasn't my best K teaching moment by any means.
But children are very forgiving. If you will admit that you messed up, they learn from your mistakes. So if you say, I'm sorry I said that, I was just frustrated, I should have chosen better words, that kind of thing, then she learns how to admit she makes mistakes. Because if you always present yourself as perfect, then they don't learn how to admit they've made mistakes.
And Kay, you're going to be really mad at me now. I just have to get this off my chest. ChatGPT has a voice now. You can talk back and forth with it. You can have a conversation, and so it's super easy when you open the app. And I pay for the extended version of it because I use it for quite a bit of stuff. But I mean, it's super simple. When you go to it, there's a little thing right here, and it suddenly turns in to this voice. And hey, how you doing this morning, sweetheart?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
See, she talks to you. Man, I'm doing so wonderful. Do you remember whenever I told you that your name was Deborah?
I remember you mentioning that. I'm glad to hear you're doing wonderful.
So see, she talks to you. She'll talk to you. And so this is where I'm going with this, Kay. You're going to be so mad at me. I told Braylon that was Deborah. See, Kay's already angry. She's livid with me right now. And I said, Braylon, Deborah wants to talk to you. And so Braylon starts having a full-on conversation with ChatGPT, thinking it's Deborah. And she's like, are you coming to get the dollhouse, Deborah? And then she's like, no, Braylon, I'm not going to get it as long as you're good to your daddy. So, see, it worked. It worked. It was but it's
the ChatGPT version of the Elf on a Shelf.
Yes, but I knew I had to get that off my chest, Kay, because you would not be happy with me, and I was holding it. I was harboring this, and I said, I've got to tell Kay. Just like in church, we're told that we need to confess our sins to others, and that helps us through certain situations. And so this was something I was harboring that I needed to confess to you to finally quit using the ChatGPT as a person to my child. This is the world we're living in. So,
well, I learned something new. I didn't know you could talk to ChatGPT.
And she'll talk right back to you. Just have a good old conversation.
It's kind of a little creepy.
It is.
I'm worried as to how many people are using that feature and how long can you sit there and talk to ChatGPT before you think this isn't a real person.
And the more you talk to it, the more it starts knowing who you are, which is kind of scary. So,
yeah,
but thank goodness, services like ChatGPT have safeguards in place, because you can only imagine, people that are going through a bad situation or wanting to harm others. Reality is that's out there. And thankfully, these services, at least like this, have those safeguards in place. That's the scary part of all this technology, is there are people out there developing this kind of software that don't have safeguards on it. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the internet. When the internet first opened up, it was kind of known as the Wild Wild West. And we're starting to see that with a lot of this new technology. But I'm also a believer that anything can be used for good, and unfortunately anything can be used for bad. And I just want to encourage people. That's the inspiration this morning.
It's much more realistic. Terminator's much more realistic now with Skynet than it was 15, 20 years ago.
I saw a silver machine hovering over the studio this morning. Mm. Yeah, it just flew over, started hovering, and then it zipped off, and it said, I'm coming back in 20 years, be ready. And I was like, whoa, easy there. And then I figured out it was Isaiah flying a drone tricking me. So thanks a lot, Isaiah.
Well, I got to keep you on your toes.
Hey, I know you got to get rolling. Do you want to hang out for the top 10?
I can.
Okay. Well, we're not even going to break. We're going to head right into this. You ready?
Yeah, ready to
go. All right, hold on. We got to get it official. Give us just a second here, because we make this super official. Picking this up, Isaiah? And now, it's time for Rick's Top 10, presented by Isaiah.
Rick has competition.
Look at that guy bouncing around on there. Today, what is today? National
Honesty Day.
Oh, National Honesty Day today.
So you need to have some discussions with Braylon, apparently.
Oh, I've already failed this day.
At least you didn't do it on today.
Isaiah.
Well, you don't know. He did wake up and talk to her this morning.
This is true. He had to get her in the car somehow.
Isaiah Berry worked on this really extensive list. He messaged me last night at like 3 in the morning. He said, bro, I'm not going to be able to make it to the show. And I said, why? Because I'm still working on the top 10 list. But he has it ready.
Yeah. I've been studying it all of about 15 minutes.
Let's just full disclaimer, we don't know what's in here.
This is true.
All right, what do you got for us? It's top 10.
Top 10 things people might actually tell you on Honesty Day.
Okay.
So if they don't tell you this, it doesn't mean it's not true. Maybe they're just being honest by omitting.
Okay.
Number 10 is, I didn't lose your number. I intentionally didn't save it.
I like that. If you're going to go on a date and you try to get a date, just tell people, I didn't lose. I just intentionally didn't say, I didn't want to be with you.
You know.
Honesty.
I wanted to wait a little while until I thought you were ready to receive my text. Number 9 is, yes, that group text is annoying, and I mute it every single time you message.
You get the group messages?
I will mute the whole group message, because my thing with the group message is when something happens and now everyone needs to send the same thank you. I feel like one yes or one yes I agree goes, and not 12 yes I agrees.
Are y'all Apple? Are you Apple? Okay, you're Apple. So you can leave them. Android, you can't leave them. You can't get out of it on an Android, so it just keeps coming in, and it does not. It's like me. It never quiets down.
You also
So I need to
can't
send
mute
you
the
a
thread.
new group text when something gets added to what's going on in the group text.
No, it's okay. I'll make sure to look. Whenever I see your name cross my phone, I make sure to look.
No muting on that one.
No. Number 8 is, that family recipe you gave me tastes like great, tastes like regret and expired oregano. If I'm okay with you not being honest with me on that one. I enjoy cooking, and I take my cooking to heart. So tell me it's great even when it's not. It'll just make me feel better.
You ever have the Thanksgiving dinners, and there's always that one person in the family that brings something that no one wants to touch, but you kind of feel obligated to because you don't want to hurt her feelings? Yeah, we have that one.
That's why I bring paper towels and utensils.
Yeah, I'm usually a drinks guy too. I mean, you can't go wrong with just bringing the drinks, cups, and ice.
This is why at the Thanksgiving I sit at the kids' table, and those paper towels, I go like this and turn, and then something goes in them. And oh, it was great, Aunt Margie.
You have to tell them you're working on your diet.
Yeah.
Just,
You tell her.
Too many vegetables. I'm trying to get skinny.
To be honest, Kay, you tell her, it took a year to get over the salmonella, so thank you.
So number 7 is, your baby is cute for a potato. And the pause is necessary in the middle there. Number 6 is, I didn't read the email. I just hit reply all to look productive. A lot of people may get in trouble with that.
Don't even put anything in the body. Just hit reply all and send.
You just got to let them know that you're working. What's the term for people who work from home? The mouse jigglers. They just keep it awake so that they seem like they're online.
Yeah.
Same concept.
I love it, man.
5 is, I do have Netflix, and no, I won't give you my password, Karen. More people maybe should do that one.
Are you a Netflix password sharer?
I'm not a big Netflix guy.
Okay.
I'm more of a Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus and chill.
Yeah. We'll go with that. It's just it has great originals. Paramount Plus does.
That'd be Double P then, like Double P and chill. Paramount Plus. We got to give it a cooler name.
We got to put that on a T-shirt.
Double P.
Yeah.
Hey, Double P. Oh, you know me? You got it, Kay? You feeling it?
I just see PP.
That's because you're around the children all day.
Yeah. Oh, man. Number 4. I only clicked going on your Facebook event so you wouldn't message me directly.
Okay, true. We got an amen from the audience back here.
No one likes your inspirational gym selfies. We just like them out of fear. That's number 3.
That's true.
I haven't really come across that one as much in my everyday life. Number 2 is I love you. Someone lying every other day of the year. Well, okay. And the number one thing that people might actually say on National Honesty Day is, honestly, I thought this was another made-up holiday like National Squirrel Appreciation Day. But hey, here we are.
There we are. There it is. Doesn't get any better than that here on a wonderful Wednesday. Rick's Top 10. Look at that guy.
I think we should keep that overlay. No matter who does the top 10, I think that bouncing Rick face overlay is perfect.
It's the best. Kay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you give the top 10 today? You get to be the official voter of this.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed now.
I would say an 8.5.
All right,
Okay.
8.5 sounds like a good one. So
that's a B plus. So it's good. It's okay.
We'll take it. Hey, can I brag? I don't brag on myself. Can I brag on myself real quick? I just have to. You know what? I just wrapped up.
This is National Honesty Day. You brag on yourself all the time.
Well, I'm being honest. Okay. Well, thank you. No, you know what happened? I got my final grades from I'm on my 4th or 5th term at ORU. Got my final grade for biology. You know what I finished up with in biology? I have no idea how. 100. Straight up. 100. And the professor never gave me any feedback, so I think she was just like, grade, check done, because I didn't get it. It's the only professor that I've had that didn't give me any feedback on anything.
When you get a perfect 100, I don't think there is any feedback to give.
I don't like it. I don't like to have a perfect 100. I'd rather have a 98 or a 99. The 100 just doesn't. It's like reviews on the internet. If you go to a business and they have, and it's like 400 reviews on Google and they're all 5-star, there's something ain't right. Somebody paying somebody something somewhere under the table.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go to a place, like a restaurant. Here's a perfect example, Kay. Do you ever go to Google and like read reviews before you go to a restaurant?
Sometimes.
If they're like a 4.0 or higher, I'll usually go. If it's like a 3.9, I'm like, that's kind of on the fence. But if it's like a 4 or higher, I'll go. But I read the reviews, and if you notice like 20 of them with the same date, then you know somebody call, hey, man, y'all got that service still for like $15 where you can give me 30 reviews? You know what I'm saying? Boom. I don't do business with them.
Or if there's 5 reviews that are negative on the same day, then they know. Then you know they called all their friends.
I had someone I had my IT company gave us a horrible review. They said, these guys did. And then I looked, and that same person on the same day reviewed about 30 other IT companies all over the United States. I'm like, man, this guy was like Superman. He was going to get his computer fixed here in California. He decided, man, I'm going to go up to Oregon. Then he cruised over to Rhode Island. This guy was all over the place getting his computer fixed in one day, Kay.
I just want to know what his gas mileage is like.
I have no idea. So
I wonder what kind of IT company he was running.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly. I ended up targeting it down, and it was a local competitor that was doing that, and I found that out. But not only that, but he was targeting other IT companies around the nation. But he was all of the ones for the other ones. It was weird. I don't know if it was some algorithm. Those were fairly positive. Mine was super negative, and I was like, "Why does I never even did business with this guy?" But it's pretty easy to dig in, especially like if somebody calls you anonymously and they're like, I'm not going to tell you my name, but the caller ID says who they are. And then you go Google them and you're like, oh, I know who this is. So anyways, good fun on National Honesty Day.
I get weary when I see reviews of places and they don't have any 1 or 2 star reviews, because normally I will only click on the 1 star or 2 star filter because I want to see the bad first.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not that bad of a reason, like sometimes people will give you a 1 star review, but then they're just like, oh, my water came out, with 2 cubes of ice instead of 3. I'm like, okay, if that's the worst review you got, that's fine.
Not going there. I can't put up with that. If I want 3, I better get 3. I ain't going there.
You see what I mean? Like, that's just doing people wrong, 1 less cube of ice. But if you have no negative reviews at all, I kind of I'm weary.
He's got it. It is.
That's my Honesty Day confession.
All right. Kay, any final? I know you got to get rolling. Any final comments from today? I know a lot going on, and we're going to continue to pray that you get well very soon. In fact, I'm believing that you're already healed. It's just going to take a few days to kick in. So,
No, I don't necessarily have anything.
All right. Well, go by. I will say this. Go by Tomorrow's Promise if you're looking for an excellent place, not a daycare, because the kids don't go to live. They go to learn. They will be alive when you pick them up, but they go to learn. Go to Tomorrow's Promise, friends. Our 2 children are there. They're thriving over at the academy. Miss Charlotte over there and Miss Avery and the whole staff. And not just there at the academy, but at all locations, all 3 locations. They do such a wonderful job. You can go online to tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Get your child enrolled. Go by, take a tour, see for yourself. Y'all got open house coming up in early May. I'm looking forward to that, where the teachers will showcase to the parents what the children get to do on a daily basis. It's a lot of fun. So thank you, Kay. You don't get enough credit. See, Kay doesn't like this, but she does not get enough credit for all the hard work that she does behind the scenes in our community with initiatives as well, like the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, putting books into children's hands 0 to 5 years old.
Yes, and we have a partnership with the hospital that every baby born gets an enrollment pack for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Where are y'all at? Where's the number at right now? Are you like over 1,050 or so?
Every month you have some that graduate, so it drops, and then you have some that enroll. So it's staying consistent about around 1,025, and I think we hit 53,000 member books mailed out.
Total books mailed out is somewhere around 5,300
or 53,000.
Yes, 53,000.
Wow.
And current amongst Walker County and Willis, I believe we're helping around 2,200 current children right now.
That's awesome. I know it's
receiving
growing.
books every month.
That's great. The numbers keep growing. That's important. It's not all about the numbers. It's about the childhood literacy, and it shows you the impact that. And it's just an idea you had, Kay. This is the inspiration this morning. If you have an idea, tell somebody. Find a way to put it to action and watch what will happen and the kind of blessing that it'll be. Because we've got 20 of those books laying around the house that the kids absolutely love. And guess what? I get 2 more each month. And I read them first. I enjoy them more than the children. So it's great because I can read them. They're easy for me to read. So, all right.
Take time today and read. I know you do every day, but everybody else take time and read a book to a child.
Read. The vocabulary through the children goes through the roof. That's why our children are talking and speaking and squeaking and fighting and everything else. I say fighting because they're fighting daddy. We're at that age. Every morning it's a battle now to get going. It's just an absolute battle. So maybe next week we can have Kay's Wednesday Wisdom on how to get over the battle of your children in the morning.
Make it a game.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Who can get ready the fastest?
I do that when we walk into the school because they used to my favorite word is lollygag, so they'd lollygag around, and I'd be like, who wants to get into this? I said, all right, it's going to be a race. Is it going to be Daddy and Kaden or Braylon? And she's like, no, Daddy, it's going to be me. And then she takes off running into the school. Except she fell one morning. I felt bad. So I was like, just walk fast, sweetheart. Don't run. Because we don't want them to end up at HMH, We love HMH. We just don't want them to end up there. If they have to, I don't want to make a trip to the hospital. Let's just put it that way. But if we have to, that's where they're going to go. So, all right, we're going to take a break. Our friends from HMH here with us this morning, and we're excited. We'll continue to positively promote the good here in our community. Kay, thank you for being here. Brother Barry, always good to see you, man.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes,
Great
sir.
to be here.
We'll take a break. Hey, remember, this show brought to you by our friends at Tomorrow's Promise. Over 27 years, not 25 now, 27 plus of educational excellence. It's going to be neat to be here on the episode to where it's 50 plus years of educational excellence. And Kay's over here, and she's just smiling. That's all.
She's going to try to work for another 25 years. So maybe not put that idea in her head because she'll do it.
Isn't that, you think about that, 13 years will be 50. Is that right? 27 and 13, is that 50 or is my math? No, it's 40.
That's 40.
You need
27.
another 10.
27 years, Kate. It's going to be 50. You're halfway there. My math is, it's called George Bush fuzzy math. If y'all remember that back in the day, it's my fuzzy math.
Well, my dad made 50 years at his business, but he started a little bit earlier than I have.
You'll make it. Kay's going to be 116, and she's still going to be running this mug. So get ready, y'all. But that's going to be 100 years from now, Kay. It's a long time away. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. It's your show, as always. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One of the best things I hear from our members is how they love being treated like they're important, like their family. Sure, our members love things like low rates on loans too, but combine that with the friendliest and most helpful service in town, and you've got Walker County Federal, taking care of our members. It's what we do. We are Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Imagine a professional office space that elevates your business image without the corporate price tag. Huntsville Executive Office Suites are coming soon to Lake Road. Enjoy high-speed internet, a fully equipped kitchen, and 24/7 secure access. Take advantage of our live answering service, advertising on our outdoor video sign, and a convenient location just a quarter mile from SHSU. Lease terms start at 6 months. Call Raven Property Management at 936-225-4378. Huntsville Executive Office Suites. Grow your business without outgrowing your budget. This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Braylon, say this is Spirit Radio.
This is Spirit Radio.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
Huntsville. Welcome back as we continue on this journey today. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. Just a little soft music here to make you go back to sleep this morning. How many need to go back to sleep? Raise your hands in the audience, out there in the virtual. We can see you out there. 74 degrees, 88% Huntsville humidity is what I like to call it. Hey, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be severe today, by the way, so keep your umbrella handy. Be careful out there. Tonight, the rain chances increase, low of 68. And then on our National Day of Prayer Thursday, we'll start out with a 60% chance of showers. Nothing like a year ago, though, when we had those monsoon floods that came through here. But again, we want all of you to come out to the National Day of Prayer. That'll get underway 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for a light lunch, and then at noon, the prayer will get underway. If you can't make it during the day, please come back tomorrow night. We've got a special brother. Mike Satterfield is coming from out of town. He is a traveling evangelist. You're going to love him. He's going to bring a message of hope and encouragement and revival to our community. And then the Irwins, a Grammy-nominated Christian group that sings everything from the classics all the way to the new contemporary Christian. They blend it together so wonderfully, so there's something for everyone. The Irwin family will be blessing us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, so come on out for all that. Well, hey, it's always a fun day when we have guests on the show. Check this out. Dr. Stephen Antwi joining us this morning.
How are you?
Good to see you, my friend. Great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Joe Shorey back with us today.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
I joked around. I said Jersey Shorey's brother. So that show's off, right? No more of that.
What show?
The Jersey Shore. Yeah. Dr. Antwi's a joker over here. So. You got to work with this guy, Joe.
I do, proudly.
Yeah. Okay, see, I love it. There we see. I was looking on national, and this is National Honesty Day, so you know he's telling the truth, man.
That's right.
Well, hey, a lot going on. I wanted to bring on HMH this morning. These two folks have been so involved. Joe's been with the hospital now for a couple of years, and Dr. Antwi grew up here in this community. And so I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on at the hospital. A lot of good things happening, and I know ratings are on the uptrend. There's been a lot of information floating around on the internet. We want people to get the facts this morning. And so we encourage people to go to HMH's website. There's an FAQ section to where you can find out everything that's been going on. But it's been great leadership, a lot of good things happening at HMH. And we're so blessed to have a community hospital right down the road here in Huntsville. We don't have to go all over the place to get the care that we need. And one reason this bond is up for the new hospital is to improve. And I don't say that in a negative way, but when you have a new facility, you've got an opportunity for new things to come in, and I think it's something that is a good thing for Huntsville. But wanted to start with, we had Joe on, about a month ago, I guess, right, man? It's been a while, maybe longer than that.
A little over a month ago with our HLI class.
Yeah, don't seem like it. Y'all, how did the Rita B. Huff supply drive go? I wanted to ask you about that real quick.
Yeah, it went pretty good. We had quite a bit of donations that came through that day. We had our drive over at Vera Bank. Had a lot of dog food brought, some bleach, just different things that the Rita B. Huff place needs, and so it was an honor for us to be able to do that. Anything that we can do to help was great. Getting out into the community and shaking hands with people, meeting people is always good as well. So.
Yeah, well, we appreciate y'all being so involved. The HLI class doing great work, and Dr. Antwi, he's going to have to get involved in that. Have you ever been in the HLI class?
Yeah, I think long time ago.
All right. Well, yeah.
We were class 43, and it's the best class ever, man.
Well, greatest class ever was 43.
I don't know. I think I was under when there's less than 10. So I don't know.
He's like,
it'd be hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Dr. Antwi's like, don't take me back there, man. Well, Dr. Antwi, we haven't had you on before, so I just want to kind of open up briefly, and we just want to get to know you a little bit. I know you grew up here, so just let us know maybe about you, your family, those kind of things, man, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I was born in Ghana, West Africa. Actually, my dad was one of the first black professors at Sam Houston State University after getting his PhD in Georgia. But was here from age 5. Went to all my elementary education from Gibbs. We only had one of everything to middle school, Mance Park, all the way to Huntsville High when there was only one of them. Played sports throughout. Was involved in church, went to St. Thomas, the Apostle Catholic Church growing up. And so pretty much did everything here throughout, was involved in the community, involved, throughout, played baseball, football. I was captain of the football team my last year, had the largest number of college recruits that went to Division I that year. And so it was a good thing. And then from there, went on to Columbia University in New York. So, small town kid goes to New York.
Pace pecani sauce, were they like New York City?
Yeah. It was definitely an experience, but loved it. Lived there for 7 years. Stayed. Went to grad school. Got my master's in public health, also from Columbia University, and so, but came back and went to medical school at UTMB. Kind of missed Texas, and so University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, the first medical college in Texas, and so went to from there, finished my residency, and had a desire to give back to the community, so was asked to come back. Kind of hesitated at first, and then things just kind of continued to point in that direction. So I came back in 2006 as the director of the emergency department, and have pretty much been that until the last couple years. A couple years in between, kind of stepped back to take on some more roles, take care of personal things, but otherwise. Still have family here. My mom, 2 brothers, sister-in-law, niece, nephew. So, yeah.
That's great. I think it's so important when you think about this community and investing in this community and giving back to this community. And here's a perfect example, Joe, of a young man that moved here when he was 5 years old. So pretty much this has been your home. You go off all the way to New York, but you want to come back, and you've been back and you've been serving this community. I think you said since 2006 now at HMH. Yep. I'll just ask it like this. What drew you back? Why did you want to come back to Huntsville? What was something about Huntsville that stood out, and maybe mention that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's always been, anyone who's ever talked to me for any period of time that, my origin story is Huntsville. I mean, everything that I think that, in terms of what, prepared me in life, what made me the person I am today, the attributes, all came from small town Huntsville. And I think it's really just because it was a genuine town that, not everyone got along, not everyone agreed on everything, and still to this day they don't. But at the same time, people were genuinely concerned about one another. People were genuinely concerned about, the well-being of one another. And so for me growing up, it was a great place, back when there were no cell phones and, the street light was kind of your indicator, you better be home. And if you did something wrong, your mom or dad knew about it before you even got to the house. And so, that feeling kind of was something I thought was very important. And so being able to give back to all those people, from friends, family, teachers, to people that I just along the way met, I've always been someone that's really been interested in the pulse of the people. And so even from when my dad was at Old Main before it burned to the Woods building, just knowing all the secretaries, custodians, the vendor that fills the snack machine, it's always been important to me, because I think that, at the end of the day, we're all people and we all come from the same stock. One title is not higher than another. One person's job is not more important than another. And so that was the reason I love this community.
I love that, man. Well, thank you for sharing that. This is what I love about Huntsville. You sit down with folks and you feel like you've known them your whole life, and that's the way it is with you. I just met you, Dr. I mean, this is cool. I've heard of you and seen you a few times, but never have met you in person. And Joe, the same thing with you. When I first had the privilege of meeting you a little over a month ago, Joe Shorey has been with HMH now for nearly 2 years and doing great work as well. Joe, I know we had you on recently, but maybe just give us a quick recap of just kind of your journey to Huntsville, if you don't mind, again, because we have a lot of new folks that are joining us today.
Yeah, sure. So I spent about 15 years in College Station, and whenever I was working over there, I worked in the medical sales. I'm a respiratory therapist by profession, and I worked for a home ventilator sales company, and I used to call on HMH for quite a few years of that time. I also got taken to Arizona, where I worked in a level 1 trauma center there, 1,000-bed adult hospital, 750-bed pediatric hospital. And then whenever I came back, I spent some time down in Conroe at HCA there. And I was looking at where can I get back to a smaller facility that really focused on the care that I wanted to give. And I saw a posting for, at the time, it was the manager of cardiopulmonary. And at the time, I reluctantly applied for it. I wanted to get out of Conroe. I wanted to come, up north to a smaller area. And I applied for it. I was told by a lot of my respiratory colleagues out there, that might not be the place you want to go. And I remember whenever I was calling on the hospital for many years of reading in the newspaper, HMH is close to foreclosures and, different things that were out there. But I also knew that CHC was managing the hospital, and I'd worked for a CHC managed facility once before. And I thought, well, maybe things have changed since the last time that I came up here. And so I applied for it and was given an interview. And it was a full day interview for a position, and part of that was interviewing with not just your staff members that you would be over, but I also interviewed with the CEO, the COO, the CNO, so all the administrative people. I got to interview with what would be my medical director, the pulmonologist, Dr. Sagel, and other folks. And through that day, one of the things that kept coming up was focusing on patient care. How do you focus on patient care? More so than how are you going to make sure you manage your budget correctly and those types of things. And so it seemed that my past experiences as a respiratory therapist and what I wanted to be able to bring to a smaller facility aligned with the administrative staff's vision of what we needed to do here. And so during that, it was a no-brainer that if it was going to be offered to me that I was going to accept it. And so that happened in September of a couple of years ago, and through that we've really been able to focus on improving the patient care, specifically in our department. So I'm over the respiratory therapy and echocardiography departments, of trying to make sure that the staff are up to speed on things that are in today's medicine, in the world of respiratory care. Whether it's in emergency care with Dr. Antui and the physicians down there and the nursing staff, in the ICU, the NICU, all those different areas. And just making sure that the care that we're giving each patient is the best care that we can give. But along the way, we've had some limitations on some things that we can do, we can't do, and that we need to have addressed. So that's what brought me here. That's what keeps me here every day. Being able to go down there and everybody's approachable at HMH. I can go down there. Dr. Antui's working. I can go down there and I can ask him anything. Yeah. And today's a day of honesty, and that's every day down there. I can go down there and say, Doc, I don't know. What can we do here? Hey, we can sit down and we can have a candid conversation about things, and it's done that way in order to make things better or to at least identify here's the hurdles that we're going to have and how can we get through those. Yeah. That's the same thing up on the floors. Whenever you're talking about, we do leadership rounding every day on patients. I have two rooms that I'm assigned to round on every Tuesday and Thursday, no matter what type of patient that's in there, whether it's a respiratory patient or not. And those are the types of things that are implemented to help increase or give better patient care. Because sometimes you have to learn from the mistakes that are made to know what not to do the next time.
Yeah, and I think that, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, for sure.
Just having been faculty at UTMB in Galveston and worked in the Methodist, in the Med Center, I think that one of the things that you don't really realize as a patient, and then even sometimes as a provider at whatever level, is that the amount of communication and the amount of close contact that your physicians and your staff and your ancillary staff and all of your people that contribute to your care are like a walk down the hall away, chat, over lunch or dinner away in a city, in a community hospital like Huntsville, as opposed to being sent to the Woodlands or the medical center where there's, such a disconnect sometimes between departments, because the higher you get up the chain of medicine in terms of tertiary medical centers, academic medical centers, there's a bunch of fiefdoms. There's a bunch of, this is mine, that's yours. And so that's not the way that really things are looked at in general at community hospitals, especially at Huntsville in the time that I've been here. As Joe pointed out, anytime there's a concern from a respiratory standpoint or cardiopulmonary, anything, I could call him, go talk to him. Never a problem, and the same with him. And we've had many candid conversations, just about, patient care, about things that have come up, that may be in relation to what either one of us do or that, is a problem that a patient or a person had. And we're just brainstorming as to how to get to that solution, And so for the last year, almost year and a half, I've been chief of staff at Huntsville Memorial Hospital. And so really meaning that, just as kind of the physician, not even supervisor really, kind of just administrator that's available in terms of helping to bridge those connections with the administration, with patients. And, and I've loved it. And the best part about that job really is that, oftentimes when I talk to patients and I tell them, that they can give me a call if there's a problem, if there's an issue, or I see people just in and around town, it's kind of a shock to them because I tell them I'll talk to the, whoever the physician is or whoever the department is or whoever the if it's a CEO or a, problem that needs to go to that level. And, it's no different talking to me about that than it is talking to me about, football or basketball. And so I think it really surprises a lot of people, but that's one thing you get in a small town that's a benefit that you don't get in a larger hospital. But with that said, part of the benefit of that is being able to capture this opportunity to grow our hospital and grow our services.
Yeah, I think about from a community standpoint, not having to go down to another area to get the services that I need. And I want to be very clear, we're not promoting or endorsing saying, hey, vote one way or the other, but there's a very important bond, obviously, that's on for vote right now. And Saturday is the day. I know the early voting has ended, but Saturday is the day to go and vote. We just encourage people just go out and vote.
Yeah,
let your voice be heard. But one reason I wanted to have you guys on, especially, Joe's been here for 2 years, so he's been involved in great things that we've seen and a lot of good transition. But you've been here through thick and thin.
Oh yeah. I have seen. Yeah, as Joe's pointed out. I mean, I came, and when I initially came, there was a big disconnect between administration and some of the members of the medical community, and even financial woes were probably close to as bad as they had been up until the bankruptcy. And so, no, I've seen it all. I've seen, wonderful, administrations come through and develop and build and grow, our community. And so, yeah, I have seen the good and the bad and the ugly when it comes to our hospital and healthcare in our community.
And the good thing is it's been on a really good trend, under new leadership. And those are all facts. I mean, you can get all this information, by the way. I want to encourage you, go to Huntsville Memorial's website, huntsvillememorial.com. If you roll over the About section, there's new hospital bond information. I did want to ask you, Dr. Antwi, just from your standpoint as a doctor, there's a lot of discussion going on about, just enhancing facilities. I think that's the better word to use instead of improve, but enhancing facilities. You've been involved so heavily with the emergency department. I mean, that's one area to where this proposal would bring 22 new emergency rooms. What are some of the challenges that maybe you've seen over the years and some things that this would help address to kind of move things forward, if it's okay to word it like that?
Of course, yeah. And when I say that, yeah, let me preface my statement by saying that, our current administration and everything that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years have been fabulous in terms of growth of our, medical community and care here in Huntsville. And so definitely without a doubt, things are positive, and I wouldn't be here if they weren't.
Yeah.
And so, when you talk about that throughout the years of going through that and looking at the challenges that we've had, a lot of them always kind of been with my rooted wanting to be able to still provide quality care, that you would get at a tertiary teaching hospital. When I provided there, you'd get it here in Huntsville. And so having an increase in capacity, increase in facility, increase in beds is so important, because I remember my first shift when I came to work at Huntsville Memorial Hospital in 2006, had a patient that came in that was pretty critical. And so whenever patients are critical, oftentimes we have to put in a larger kind of IV line called a central line. And so I asked them, the staff that was working, I said, hey, I need a sterile gown, it's a sterile procedure. And they kind of looked at me, and I was like, well, is it in the kit? Where do you have it? And they ended up having to go to the OR to get it because the limited supplies at that time that were present and available in the ER. And so, and that's something that, you can throw a rock and find them in every ER room and every other larger hospital. And over the years, we've kind of shored up some of those things. But as you point out, some of that comes with, size and innovation, and I think that one of the things that we've lacked, because of our construct and our constriction, I should say, with the current hospital, is that we don't have the ability to bring in some of that innovation because we don't have space. Mm-hmm. We don't have the technology requires different wiring, different cooling system. And so, things that we just don't have in the current facility. And so that limits our ability to provide those things for our patients. And, and some of those things over the years, I mean, Huntsville is not some small mom and pop town. I mean, we see heart attacks, we see, penetrating trauma, gunshot wounds, that we see all of that in this hospital. And so a lot of times it's kind of funny to me when people talk about, the care that they can receive in Huntsville. I mean, really, coming from a teaching hospital, faculty, I mean, the care that's always been the standard that I've always looked to try to have provided in the ER has been standard, second to none. And so having facilities that kind of update us, I mean, our current ER physicians are staffed primarily by physicians that also work for Herman. So again, largest hospital system in the state, top 5 largest in the nation, are there. And so they have capabilities, they have skills, and they have skill sets that we could be expanding our care, but we don't have the facility. We don't have the capability to bring in some of that technology. And so, this whole issue of growth in a hospital is not just a esoteric discussion about moving chess pieces or administration or big business. The ability for us to care for our patients better requires innovation, requires additional space. Already as part of this whole process, I've stressed the fact that over the years we've had what's called a fast track, or the ability to see less acute patients immediately. Well, part of that is built into this whole idea of what will be part of the new ER. And so a lot of times in the community, we get a lot of people that are concerned or complain that they can't get seen soon enough. But every ER across the nation is always based on acuity. And so whenever you have that additional setting or area that's a fast track area, then those patients who are just as important but don't have as high of an acuity still get seen in a timely manner. And I think that, it can't be understated how important growth and expansion is. I think that one of the things when I first came back in 2006, from a community standpoint, my kids were young, but under school age. I guess at the time they were 2, 5, and 7. And so, but there weren't many new communities that have been built in terms of housing, in terms of, and so we ended up getting an older house in Elkins. But for me, that's part of the downside of this beloved community, is that we have so much growth potential. I mean, Sam Houston has expanded so much, for all of the families that have workers for TDCJ, whether it's office, whether it's correctional, that tax dollar should be going into making our community better. That should be growing our community. And so a hospital is part of that same growth. And so, in order for us to want or provide the best state-of-the-art medicine and medical care, we have to have a innovative and a up-to-date building to do that in.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's all good factual information, and it comes right from the source. I mean, here's someone who's worked in it since 2006, who pretty much grew up here and said, you know what, I choose to make Huntsville my home. And I can say this on your behalf because I'm sure you'd say it. I want the best for our community, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whatever. We want to see continued enhancements in all those areas, the workforce, the housing.
Exactly.
Joe, 2 years in for you, and you're doing incredible work. A very likable guy. It's Honesty Day, so I'm being honest.
Thank you.
He's a great guy.
Thank you.
One of the discussions that I've heard, and I wanted this from your viewpoint, it's kind of like that old adage, if you build it, they will come, right?
Sure.
And there's been a lot of discussion that people have said, on whether they're for or against certain things. They have said, some people have said, well, that's, a new facility is not going to draw in new people. Other people have said a new facility will draw in new people. A lot of the people in those discussions aren't involved in that. They're just folks that have an opinion, which is okay. We're all entitled to that. So I want to hear it from you. Here you are working in the facility. Would a new facility or upgraded, enhanced operations of those types, would that draw in additional talent? Would that draw in more people that would say, hey, we want to make Huntsville home? Unequivocally,
absolutely. As on the director level of the hospital, I'm in charge of interviewing folks to come to work for us. You can go look on our website and see the number of positions that are open. I have full-time staff, PRN staff positions available in our department. Here recently in the last probably 2 months, I've had 2 really strong candidates who have come in to apply for a full-time night shift position. I explained to them all the the requirements of the job. They'll come in for an interview. We have a great interview, and at the end of every interview, I walk them around the campus. And I take them to the emergency room. I take them to our intensive care unit. I take them to every area of our hospital. And then at the end of it, like, this is what we work in. Here's the care that we give. You see the smiling faces up on the floor, the interactions that we've had with everybody, you know, hey, Joe, or, you know, being able to know first name basis of all the folks that are working. And then, you know, we'll reach out to them with an offer of employment, and they'll decline it. And I typically will reach back out to them to find out, you know, what could we have done better, or, you know, what was the reason why we declined. And in the last couple of months, every one of them is, I just don't want to work in that type of facility. You know, the folks that we do have are amazing. You know, I'm over 24 employees in my department, and every single one of them, you know, have top-notch experience, and they come to work and they do the best job that they can given what we have. You know, we have some of our inpatient rooms. You know, the emergency room, we have a lot more space in the emergency room than we do on the inpatient side. And so when we have somebody on the inpatient side, say the intensive care unit, our rooms are pretty small up there. And so if we have somebody who's on a ventilator and they have 3 or 4 medications that they're being given at the same time, and then we try to get in there and also do chest physiotherapy, or they need a central line put into them down the road, or an arterial line or something. The space to be able to do that is not there. We are having to pull patients sometimes out of the rooms to be able to rearrange things so that we can get them back in there. On the general floor, it's the same way. Even our private rooms there are small. So if we have somebody who's on the general floor and they need to be on a BiPAP machine, and they also have to have, you know, their antibiotics, and then trying to get to the restroom, and maybe they can't get up, they have to have a potty chair. Different things in those rooms are so small to be able to care for them that we become acrobats on how do we maneuver through that room to get to the oxygen flow meter to be able to provide them with the nebulizer treatment because of the other pieces of equipment that are in the room. So those limitations are there. And those are the things that new hires see. Mm-hmm. And they know that if they work in another newer facility, they have more room, they have more space to be able to perform the job duties that they have. It's kind of if you remember Apollo 7, you know, or Apollo 13, the movie.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they had to take these pieces and make them to work to put it in here to get the job done. You know, that's kind of how we do it on a daily basis.
Make and do with what you have.
Make do with what you have. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're still providing excellent care to patients.
Absolutely.
You know, the leapfrog scores show that, you know, we're officially an A, or it might be official next week. But, you know, we were gone from a D to an A in 5 years, 4 years.
And just as you commented, you know, we didn't have, when I left Huntsville, we didn't have cell phones, you know. First got here, still had a black and white TV. Definitely with the big, you know, 2-foot box behind it.
Big tube, yeah.
And so, you know, it's like, but innovation comes, you know. My kids wouldn't know how to live in a world without cell phones. And, you know, and so same thing as you say now with AI. And so the same thing is in medicine. It's like, it's not a static thing. I mean, we're at the core of it, the doctors, nurses, the therapists, you know, we're at the core of it, but we rely on technology. We rely on updates. We rely on, you know, things that help us do our job better. You know, could you imagine doing your job as a daily basis for all of your, you know, viewers if you had to carry around that box that they had in the 80s when cell phones first came out, you know, with that little strap pack, you know.
Mounted up under the dash with the big, yeah.
Could you imagine doing that today, you know, and you couldn't. And so, you know, most of our equipment is not as arcane as that, but, you know, some things just aren't updatable in that current facility. And so it goes beyond the measure, again, of just, you know, nuances. And as Joe also pointed out, you can't recruit the best physicians, you know, without having that tie. You know, had I not grown up in Huntsville, no, I wouldn't work in a facility that didn't have this, and this, mm-hmm. you know. And so when you talk about being able to then recruit, because I still have colleagues across Houston, you know, and so being able to recruit them also demands that they have the capability and the equipment that they need in order to perform their job. You know, it's like telling, you know, Altuve, he has to hit with a Louisville Slugger, you know, wooden bat, you know, from when I played baseball. And it's like, he'd be like, you're out of your mind. You know, we've got technology, we've got ergonomics, we've got, you know, handle distribution, things that, you know, what? When I was, and so I think that that's the same thing is that, you don't look at it from the standpoint of is it a shiny building that attracts new talent? No, it's the equipment, the innovation, the people, the philosophy of the hospital, the ability to be able to care at the best level possible. I think that no one would want to go into their job feeling as if, they're going to have to compromise in order to get the best output. And as Joe stated, we don't have to do that, but there are a lot of things that we don't have in terms of just space and innovation that would be possible with an expansion.
Well, those are all really valid and really good points, and I'm glad that you touched base on that, because I think some of the talk has been, like I said, if you build it, they will come. But it's so much more than that. Of course, you want to have the best talent. And as you were talking, I was thinking of both of you guys. Obviously, both of y'all are very talented, very educated, very well-versed in the fields that you're in. We're so blessed to have you in Huntsville. And I say this because y'all could have chose anywhere. Houston, folks down in Houston would have probably hired both of y'all in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
You went to New York. You've traveled this country and seen things. But you chose to be here because you want the best for here. And I love that about both of you guys. And I think that's so important that when you have – and I've said it on this show. That's what I love about the show. We're all about positivity and lifting people up and encouraging people. And I've always said when you're passionate about what you do, you're going to be successful. You guys are passionate about what you do in serving this community, and y'all are helping this community become successful. And it's so appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we appreciate that too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, every day. I mean, and when you asked, I guess the crux of the whole matter to the question is why I came back is because the question of if my family member had to go to the Huntsville hospital back in 2005, there may have been some discord, and so for me it was like every day that I've been in this hospital, every day I've been back in this community, I want everyone that comes in that emergency department you take care of as if they were my family, and really, I mean, throughout my years here, every place you're going to have bad apples. You're going to have people that go undetected until things happen, but that's the nature of the beast, right? Mm-hmm. No human is perfect, without God's grace. And so, and then we're still not perfect, right? We just have the ability to then maybe be our best selves. And so, but that really is at the heart of the whole matter for me. It's like none of this is about, I mean, I worked a 24-hour shift before I came here today, and so it's because this community means that much to me. You know what I mean? There's no added benefit. I don't get paid to be chief of staff. Sometimes when I get those texts and phone calls, I second guess that role. And so none of this is because of any pitch of anything.
Yeah.
It's because this is how important it is for my community for me to come and talk about this on the heels of, working 24 hours, because it matters. It matters how we care for our community. It matters how we innovate and we grow our community. It matters how we offer ourselves opportunities. If my mom, brother, God forbid, have a heart attack, that's where they're going to go. And so for those people who think, well, the Woodlands is just a hop, skip, and a jump away, or Conroe, whenever your life and the things you need matter most, there's no time to go out of town. And so, worst case scenario, if this hospital were to close, people would really understand the impact is devastating in terms of your ability to access care. Places that have lost community hospitals, it's not just a matter of inconvenience, it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah,
and so,
I think that's the biggest point too. Well, man, I appreciate you guys. It just feels like good friends sitting here with y'all. It really does, man. And I was sitting here thinking too while you were talking, I'm going to say it in the past, because I don't want to speak things into the future. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, like, yesterday I kind of wanted to come my finger so I get to go see y'all. Now I don't want that to happen, but I mean that just sitting here with you, Dr. Antwi, and getting to know Joe, over these past few months too. I mean, I really feel confident, in what y'all are doing and just the investment that you have had, and even outside of your profession, but just the investment that you want to have in Huntsville to continue to enhance this community. I've always said healthcare and education are two of the most critical things in any community. And you know what, friends? We're striving for the best here in Huntsville, and we've got two of the best sitting with us today.
Hey.
So thank y'all so much.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, society can't thrive without those two things. And so that was great to talk earlier and what those guys are doing. And, that's just amazing. And, I think that, those are the crux of any growing, thriving, benevolent society. So
that's good. Well,
thank
Joe,
for
thank you,
having
man.
us.
Any final comments, Joe? I appreciate you being here too, man. You're always welcome, both of y'all.
Well, sure. No, I do want to say one other thing. I think it's very important to understand that, this facility isn't going to change the fact that we're going to have to transfer people down south from here, right? And I think it's important, there's a lot of talk about, well, why can't Memorial Hermann build a hospital? Or why can't, Houston Methodist or somebody build a hospital here? And part of that, I feel like, is if approximately 70% of the healthcare needs here already go down south. I think that's the latest percentage that they've shown. Is it if any business in another town is already receiving 70% of the business from out of town, then they don't need to build a hospital here because the people are already going there. So why would they put the infrastructure in place and the expense to build a facility when they're already getting that? Those folks are going down there. And that's just not what they're into. The other thing is those facilities are a big part of huge hospital systems, so where any profit that's made is going to go down there. It's not going to stay here.
And that's what I was saying is being faculty at UTMB, and even I left and worked part-time here for a couple of years and worked back as faculty for UTMB kind of in the middle stint of these almost 19 years I've been here. Or 19 going on 20 years. And so one of the things that you don't understand when you're just kind of in a smaller community is that all of these hospital systems, UTMB helped them set up their first adult urgent care centers, and the purpose of all of those outside facilities is to send food back to the mothership, And so if Herman did build a hospital here, everything except for the most basic level of care would be transferred. If Methodist built a hospital here, everything but the most basic level of care would be transferred. And in my little bit that I did in talking about the reason things are transferred is that every single day, the Woodlands transfers things to the medical center. Every single day, Northeast, Southeast, Herman, Methodist transfer things to the medical center because the greatest capability of medical care and the greatest body of medical care is always going to be at the largest facility. And so no matter where you go, there are conditions, there are cases, there are diseases that will always be transferred from every hospital to the largest hospital that cares for that thing. And so, this kind of misnomer that we're so small we transfer everything is not it's not a real medical thing. I mean, everything is based on the care and capability of the hospital. Yes, that's true. But the other thing is that, whenever it comes to higher disease processes, everything is transferred. But I just think that, everyone should understand that it is not a good thing in any way, capacity, or even thought process for one of the larger hospital systems to build a hospital here in Huntsville, because all it will be is a Band-Aid station and a transport portal to out of town. And so as hard as it is now, driving from downtown through the Woodlands or driving the opposite direction, I mean, imagine that having to be the only route you have for healthcare, and so, and not in any kind of ominous way, but to Joe's point, I mean, having been faculty at largest first teaching hospital at the Methodist, and so it's just, it's not a issue of building these new places so that we can be independent satellites of beacons of hope. It's because the mothership is extending its reach, but with limited services.
Yeah, all good points, man. I appreciate that so much, Doctor. Thank you for just your leadership. And again, I love being able to hear right from two guys that are right in the thick of it, instead of just hearsay on the outside. Here's two people working in it every day. Yeah. Coming off a 24-hour shift, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, I love my town. Well, I get to go see my mom have breakfast. So
there you go, man. Love it, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Hey, this town is good to me. And go vote, no matter what your ideology is. I mean, the thing that I always, talk to people, because as a student of psychology, as an undergraduate, is that your rationale for discord and disagreement is best manifested in your vote. And good. So, we can debate all we want to, but if we don't participate in the electoral process and in the voting process, then really our words are just meaningless. They're not filled with action. And so, I just encourage everyone to go out, make this the biggest turnout we've had on Election Day on Saturday, and just, please vote and vote your heart, but vote for your community.
And be informed about what you're voting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Quick, different question. Y'all been keeping up with the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, it was rough. I saw bits and pieces.
All right. Is it Rockets are down right now 1-3. Golden State 3-1 tonight. Yeah. Golden State could take it. Will the Rockets make a comeback? What do you think, man?
The Rockets will definitely win tonight.
Okay, all right, but then probably lose Game 7. No, they'll win tonight. Tomorrow it'll go to Game 7.
Yeah,
I'm a Spurs fan, so
Yeah, I don't know, because it'll go back to it's 1-1-1 now. So after the game tonight, it'll go back to Golden State. So that may be the swan song when we go back to Golden State.
They may get us in 6.
So what does NBA stand for?
What is it?
I'm not sure. What is that one?
NBA.
I'm a football guy.
Touche. Yes.
All right, Cowboys or Texans?
Texans.
Y'all going to outnumber me on that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a Cowboys fan.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Is that team still around?
They are barely.
Which puppet did Jerry hire this year?
They're renaming the team to the Jones.
I'm the coach of the Cowboys.
I hired him, but you don't even get, and it's not. They're going to rename the team. They're renaming them to the Joneses.
Yeah,
so they're getting a whole new name now. It's the Dallas Joneses coming up next year.
Yeah, that team has so much potential. But
it is so sad that they do.
Yeah.
They've got the.
I'm glad as a Texans fan, but I just think, man, Jerry, get your hands out of the pie, please.
There you go. All right,
let those players and coaches do what they got to do. You've had some all-star caliber coaches, and I'd actually watch because how about them Cowboys, I guess was retiring, but I didn't even know those guys went to college together. So I'm thinking, if you do that to your college buddy.
Oh, you're talking about Jerry and Jimmy back then.
Yeah, after he wins the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, not good. Was it Jerry and Jimmy or was it Jerry and Barry? See, it's like.
Oh, Switzer was there
Barry
too.
Switzer was too, but it was
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. They rhyme. It's Jerry and Jimmy and Jerry and Barry. See, there's something with that,
something
man.
With that, yeah.
Next one, Daryl Strawberry may be the head coach next year. You never know, man. Maybe
and
take
they would
baseball
still
to football.
Lose.
Yeah,
Jerry and the Barry, man, coming on.
But no, I'm looking forward to this year's football team. But I'm hoping the Rockets do well tonight. Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm hoping so too. I'm a Spurs
fan. Go Bearcats.
There you go. Go Bearcats.
Go Hornets.
There it is.
What is it? Eat 'em up cats. I don't know what we were just like. I don't know what back in the day we were just the Hornets. I don't know if there's a
Sting 'em. Yeah, sting 'em.
Yeah.
Oh, like that?
It's like hang ten. No. What is it? I should know this. No, I should. No,
I'm still learning all these.
It's this.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah, because it's got the little stinger coming
stinger.
out.
Okay.
And here's the deal: if you get too many of these, you're gonna have to go see them.
That's right. That's right. We'll be there. We'll take good care of you.
Well, man, thank y'all so much.
Hey,
appreciate
thanks for
you.
having me.
What a
Thank
blessing
you.
to have y'all. I know you guys are working hard, but thank
Yeah.
y'all for just coming in and just giving us some more insight from two guys that are right there in the thick of things. So thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're gonna take a final break. Isaiah Berry will close it out with us when we come back. Again, don't forget voting. Early voting is already over, but you got one final opportunity. That's going to be on Saturday. So go and vote and exercise your duty in the democratic process.
Yes.
We'll take a brief break, and hey, what are we going to give away today? You know what? I got some jewelry hanging out over there, and I'm going to bless somebody with some jewelry today, courtesy of Elliott's Jewelers. It could be valued up to $300 make 'em holla dollars. You never know. $300, possibly $300, maybe $100. I don't know. It's a surprise bag. All you got to do, if you want to win some jewelry, all you got to do is text in your name on the Zero Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. Text in your name, a chance to win some jewelry when we come back. We'll step aside. We'll take a brief break. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit
'Great interview with our friends from HMH Huntsville Memorial Hospital. I love being able to hear, right out of folks right there that are working in it, Isaiah. You and I don't work there, so we don't know what's going on. And, we've heard some great factual information from CEO Patrick Shannon and Ian Gibson, Brian Golgar, all wonderful, wonderful folks. And, they're over the administrative side of the things of the hospital. And it's always been great to hear from them, but to hear from people actually like in the thick of it. They're in there, as Dr. Antwi said, man, coming off of a 24-hour shift. If I'm sitting there thinking I'm him and like somebody asked me to come on the show, Sweet Brown's coming out, I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that, but he came, man.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Man, I always say, you want to know the state of a restaurant, ask the waiter.
Yeah.
You can talk to the owner, but he may give you his best impression. But the waiter, he don't care. He's working in there every day.
Waiters
he knows
tell
exactly.
You. And here's some encouragement. If you're cruising through, especially a fast food place, I always ask people, how you doing today? A lot of people are going to be brutally honest with you. And here over the past couple of days, I've had 3 people tell me, well, I'm honestly not doing great. You know what you can do in that moment, especially as a believer? Pray for that person right there. And I've prayed with 2 people right at the window and just said, Lord, bless this person and help them through whatever they're going through today. You never know what seed that you plant is going to do for somebody else. And if you ask somebody how they're doing and they tell you they're not doing great, your first comment shouldn't be, well, I hope it gets better. Your first comment should be, is there anything that I can do to help you? Mm-hmm. Because everybody can say, well, I hope it gets better. I hope it gets, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that it's bad. I mean, you're giving them, an encouraging statement. But But my challenge would be, as I challenge myself, and I'm not perfect at this. None of us are perfect at anything. But my challenge is when you hear that from somebody, especially today, ask people how they're doing. If they say they're not doing great, just put your arm on them and say, is there anything I can do? I'm sorry that things are happening. Is there anything that I can do to help your day go better? And if they say no, then that's it. If they say yeah, but you can also offer up a prayer and say, well, look, I know you said there's nothing I can do, but let me say a prayer. It don't have to be quick. The drive-through lines, they're fast. People want them hamburgers. All you got to do is just say, Lord, bless that person that's going through something. In Jesus' name, amen. That's it. Mm-hmm. Just that simple, quick prayer. You don't have to be drawn out, 5-hour prayer. Oh, Lord, this and that. Just say, Lord, bless this person, whatever they're going through, in the name of Jesus, amen. And you never know what that little quick prayer is going to do to help somebody through what could be maybe the darkest day of their life. We don't know what people are going through. Yeah. All of us are going through a season, whether it's good or bad. And, I think sometimes, I've always said you want to climb the mountain, right? We've always taught that growing up. Like, you want to climb the mountain, get up to the top. I just want the valley to be clear. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind the valley. I'm cool with the valley. I just want the valley to be clear sometimes, man.
That's really all it is.
Because there's beauty in the valley. When you get up in the mountains, man, sometimes you can't breathe because there's not enough oxygen.
Yeah. Everything looks small. You like being up close and personal with all of the things in the valley. You just don't want it to rain down there.
Yeah, no, man.
Wash you away. But
I'm cool with the valley as long as the valley's clear. We're good, man.
Exactly.
Because there's beauty in the valley too, and you just got to look for it. So maybe you're in that valley today. Just look for the beauty in the valley. Well, hey, for you, man, has it been 3 weeks now at Tomorrow's Promise? You're fully engaged, huh, man?
Yeah, we're closing in on a month now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's coming up, man.
Yeah, about 3.5 weeks, so might as well.
Yeah. What have you been involved in so far? Just give us some updates.
Oh, man. So this past weekend, we were at the All Kids Expo.
I saw you there. You and Courtney?
Here. Yeah. Really just getting the word out and trying to touch as many people as I can. And more or less just trying to get as many people to know what we do and how we can help them or their child by them just coming up to the school. And maybe if it's not enrolling permanently in one of the pre-K classes, just after school program and letting people know that we have summer camp coming up. So if you need something for the kiddos to do during the summer, that we have that for you as well. And that's really, and then planning on some events we have coming up later this year. Really working on, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but really working on bringing a food truck event to Huntsville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I would really love.
Get my boys from Fat Boys Pizza. There'd be no confusion now because the Fat Boys food trailer that was here in Huntsville is a totally separate family. They have decided to shut down. We're done. We've had a good run. And so now I've been telling my boy Shane Christian up in Riverside, I said, bro, you got to bring Fat Boys Pizza here. There will be no confusion now because Fat Boys isn't here anymore.
This is true.
Get my boy from Fat Boys Pizza. You ever had that?
And then no,
dude,
you're
missing out, man. Don't talk to Rick about it because I talked it up, and then Rick's very peculiar when it comes to food. But the things that you would think are the best, Rick is like, eh.
Yeah, he's not a very big buy the hype type of guy.
He's not a big foodie either.
No, yeah. So it's just nutrition to him. It's just
foodie,
fuel
brother.
to him. Oh, I love food.
I'm a foodie, man.
Pizza especially, man. I don't know if you see the one bite pizza reviews online. I don't live by those, but I kind of do it myself when I go to a place. I'm just like, let me give it one bite and see how it is. And then next thing I know, I'm halfway through the slice of pizza and I forgot the review.
Yeah, no joke, man.
But yeah, man. So just really working on trying to bring some more events to Huntsville, and all of the events that we'll have coming up will be charitable events, so they will benefit the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and bringing those books and that literacy to the youth of Walker County. But food truck events, our lasso event that we usually have in September, I want to call it a gala, a Western gala, and make it all fancy, but that's in the works as well. Car shows, the whole nine. So,
yeah, nice, man.
Yeah.
Oil wrestling? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, look, if you have an idea out there, reach out to me on Facebook. We may bring it to Huntsville, but not that one.
Yeah, not that one. Unless it's like, no, never mind. No. You can't do it. You can't do it. Sorry. All right, well, it's Tomorrow's Promise. Go online, tomorrowspromise.info. Get your children enrolled. They do such a wonderful job. I know we joke around, but they really do. They do such a wonderful job, especially in early childhood development. That's what K is all about. That's what Tomorrow's Promise is all about. Make sure that you get your children started on the right side of the brain. And I don't know if it's the left or the right or which one's the right side, but I'm going to tell you what's right is making sure that you get your kids the knowledge and the information that they need. They're going to get that from Tomorrow's Promise. It's a great school. Our children are thriving and succeeding, doing very, very well. And, I start thinking as they get older, I kind of get a little bummed because I know eventually they're going to have to go somewhere else. But right now they're there. They're at the age they can be there. And just get your children enrolled. There's also after-school programs too. So if you have any ideas or any thoughts about getting your children enrolled and you're thinking, well, I don't know, maybe my child's too old, give them a call. More than likely there's a place that they can fit in. If it's not the full-on care, they do have other programs, the after-school programs and those things too that the kids could get involved with.
Before and after school.
Yeah.
I didn't. And prior to working.
I forgot about the before. Yeah. That's right.
Prior to working here, I didn't understand, I guess, the importance of needing the same way you need somewhere to pick your kids up from after school or for them to be after school until you get off of work. But there are a lot of people who need that exact same sentiment, but in the mornings. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Isaiah, thanks for being here, man. We are giving away some jewelry today. And I've encouraged people to text in their name on the 0 Degree. By the way, it's the last day of the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. Rick is getting out of that business soon, and so they said, hey, we're not going to be able to sponsor that line anymore. And so tomorrow, we don't have a sponsor for the phone and text line. We've put it out there. A few people have nibbled at it, but we would really appreciate any support. We mention that every day. It's tremendous exposure for your business. And it will include, with the new sponsorship level that's coming out for that phone and text line, it's going to include a daily commercial that is played on this show. And so if you have a business and you want great exposure for your business, daily exposure, some days we're hitting almost 2,000 views now on the show, which is incredible. We thank you for the support. But consider sponsoring that phone and text line. You can email me, hello@hellohuntsvilletx.com. Again, it's hello@hellohuntsvilletx.com. And I can pretty much guarantee it's the best deal in town when it comes to marketing and advertising. We are Huntsville's small business marketing engine, and we can come up with a program that's fully customizable. In fact, most of what we do outside of our foundation sponsorship is fully customizable programs. And honestly, it's what keeps us going. Business is tough for a lot of folks right now. It's not easy for us. I don't go out and I'm not making sales every day. I don't get on the phone and ask people every day to contribute finances to this platform. The Lord has blessed us with people just getting on board. And so it's times like these when I ask, it's very rare, but I would love to have your support. So if you've got a small business where and it doesn't even have to be small, it can be a large business. But if you know of someone in business that would like to sponsor that phone and text line, again, it'll be daily exposure, tremendous amount of exposure. And we really do need that covered. We also have an opportunity to sponsor our events section on our website. The reason I thought about getting that sponsored is, one, we get a lot of traffic. It's a great value. We also put those in our newsletter that goes out weekly to 2,100 and growing people, so you'll get exposure there. But I got a bill from the company that I use for my events plugin, and I was like, whoa, man, I need somebody to sponsor this. So we will get you in return some as well. A few text messages did come in. We will text the winner of that jewelry after the show, so make sure that you keep your phones nearby. We're not going to be able to call because, Isaiah, you got to get rolling, and I've got a meeting I've got to be at in just a few minutes. I just looked at the clock. So
yes, yeah.
Any final comments, man? Good to have you. Thanks for hanging out with us today, man.
Oh, man, I love being here.
I love your supporting Spirit Radio, too. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be a walking billboard
He's
today.
got the sticker on today, man.
Scan me if you want to if you want to listen to Spirit Radio.
And it won't even go to the app. He'll just start singing. Ooh. I'm just kidding.
Depending on where we're at.
Yeah.
No final, not a ton of final words, but just encouraging people today. Have a great day. I like to tell people, man, if no one's told you today you're doing all right, you're doing a great job. A lot of people go so many days without just hearing that they're doing all right or that they're doing a good job. So that's my encouragement for people today. If you can tell someone that, and just get out there today and see someone in Huntsville. Go support a local business, or take a friend out to go have lunch or something like that. If that's kind of what we like to spread at Tomorrow's Promise, just community and being cool to one another. So if there's any message you wanted to hear from me today, that's it.
That's it, man. Love it. That's what we're about on this platform, and we want to spread the positivity. So, hey, remember, National Day of Prayer tomorrow. We will have a show tomorrow. It's pre-recorded, a very short show. We've already recorded it, So make sure that you do tune in tomorrow, though. I've got a young man named Joshua Mashi that's going to share his story. He's from Lebanon. He's involved at our church here at First Baptist, but our message tomorrow and his message is hope for the generation. So you definitely want to make sure that you tune in tomorrow. We'll be back at it at 7:30. Join us for the National Day of Prayer tomorrow, 11 a.m. for a light lunch. Prayer gets underway at noon. Then bring the kids and the family. Come back that night for the evening of hope. We've invested a lot in this night message, especially bringing people from outside of town to come in. The Irwins Grammy-nominated group. They will be singing an unbelievable night of encouragement and hope. Mike Satterfield's going to bring down the house, and we want you to fill up the house at the Walker County Fairgrounds. So again, come at 11 for a light lunch, the prayer from noon to 1, and then come back that evening. And you don't have to come to both if you can't come tomorrow because of work obligations during the day. Hey, guess what? That's why we're doing the evening of hope at 6 o'clock. We'll see you there. As I end every show, reminding you we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please, provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I guarantee, Huntsville, somebody out there needs you. Till then, good morning and so long. God bless you. We'll see you, Isaiah. Thank you, man.
See you. No problem.